I want you to raise your hand if this sounds like you. All right. If this sounds like you, where you are Monday, you show up ready for the week, you're motivated, you're like, yep, this is my week. I'm going to hit my business goals. I'm going to make, I'm going to sign a client this week, sign two clients this week, whatever your goal is for your business, right? You're jumping into your next level of your business and you're like, Monday, you're showing up, you're ready to go. By Tuesday, okay, you're still pumped. You're like, all right, you're posting content and you're still inspired, right? By Wednesday, you go back, you're analyzing your content, right? You're looking at your analytics and you're like, okay, I didn't get as many views as I thought I was going to get. I didn't get as many comments or shares, or what you're looking for is the DM messages, right? You want them to comment a keyword to jump into your conversion event, and that didn't happen for you. And so by Wednesday, you're a little discouraged, right? You're disappointed. You're like, oh, I really thought this piece of content was going to do it. And so now you're like, you're a little hurt. You're a little discouraged. And so now you're like, you're starting to doubt yourself. So by Thursday, you're just like, you're so over it. You're frustrated. You're like, you know what? Let me just scroll. Now you're doing escapism methods and you're just avoiding, right? You're in avoidance mode. You're just like, I don't even want to be bothered with this. Like, I'm just so hurt. I'm so frustrated, so irritated. And you just end up in this cycle, right? So by Thursday, you're just feeling defeated. By Friday, you're just like, oh yeah, no, I am feeling at this point guilty, because what happened is on Thursday you're scrolling, now you're comparing yourself to other people. It just gets you in a deeper cycle. And so Friday you're feeling guilty, you're feeling shame. And then Saturday you're just like, you know what? I'm just so frustrated that I thought this was going to be my week. And then by Sunday you're like, all right, God, you're praying. You're like, all right, Lord, this last week did not go so well, but guess what, Lord? I'm praying and I'm believing that this next week is going to be my week. Let me know in the chat if this sounds anything like you, anything like your week when it comes to creating content for your business, growing your business, showing up, marketing your business, selling, putting your offer out there. If this sounds anything like you, I'm going to be breaking down exactly how to break the sabotaging cycle in your business for good. All right. We're going to break the cycle of sabotage for good. I'm going to be breaking down exactly how to do that. So welcome back. If you haven't been yet before in one of these episodes, it's the Daily Dose episode with yours truly, Janel Ranée. I help you to transition into coaching full time without chasing clients, without fighting the algorithm, without self-sabotaging, or without sacrificing time with your beautiful family, right? And so the dose in the Daily Dose is divine overflow of spirit-led empowerment, equipping, encouragement, just to help you as you continue to scale your coaching business. And so we're jumping in. We're going straight into how to break the sabotaging cycle in your business for good. But before we jump in, I do have a question for you. What triggers your self-sabotaging loop when you're scaling in your business? What do you feel is your trigger? What triggers it for you? Is it when you post content and you're hearing crickets? Is it when you send the email but you're not seeing the signups? Is it when you go live but you're not seeing like you're not getting the views? Like what's your trigger? I want to know, like, what is your trigger? Take some time even tonight and journal it. Really just sit with the Lord and ask, like, just really do some inner work to really discover what that trigger is for you. And I want to say that sometimes, very often, you're not even truly what triggers you, but you don't fully understand why. You don't understand completely why. And I'm going to be breaking down a formula. It's a one sentence formula that'll help you to really understand, like, the subconscious beliefs that's really running 95% of your actions. So your subconscious mind controls your automatic nervous system, which controls 95% of your behaviors without you even having to think about it. You're constantly on autopilot. When you wake up in the morning, you have the same routine. You probably get off the bed the same side every morning, walk to the bathroom. You have your routine, right? You're driving to work. You have a set way that you get to work. You're not even having to consciously think of it anymore. And so this is just how the subconscious works. And if you have limiting beliefs subconsciously, that's what's going to be running the show in your business. And so I want you to answer this question. I want you to answer this. I want blank, but I don't want blank. So you need to just fill in the blanks here to really see what is that underlying thing. So an example of this would be, I want to market my business, right? I want to market my business, but I don't want high school friends or coworkers or my boss or my family members to see what I'm doing, to see the business that I'm building. That could be one of them. I have clients who think this way. Another one could be, I want to grow my business. I want to expand my business. I want more clients, but I don't want more responsibility. I don't want more stress. I don't want less freedom. I don't want more pressure, right? I don't want less time with my family. That was huge for me. And so I want you to do this work, this exercise to really uncover what is that subconscious belief block that's causing you to self sabotage in the first place. Because once you have this awareness, then you'll be able to um, apply what I'm going to teach you and really be able to accelerate in your business, no matter what level you are in your business. Right now, maybe if you're making 2K, 3K, and you see yourself, or your dream is to maybe make 10K this month, right? Or maybe you're making 10K, but your goal is to make 50K. Like whatever it is for you in particular, it's really important that you understand that your business will only grow to the level of your belief system and your body's safety. And so your subconscious mind is what's running your automatic nervous system, right? And so if your nervous system does not feel safe going forward, because subconsciously you're thinking, well, if I grow my business and I have this success, and I'm making 100K a month, that means I have more clients. That means I have more responsibility. That means I have more pressure, more stress. And so subconsciously, you limit yourself and you don't even realize you're doing it. And so that is just how your body is designed to work. And it's really important that you have this understanding so that you can move forward and execute the business that the Lord has placed on your heart to grow. I'm looking for my notes. Okay, here it is. All right. So this is what I'm going to showcase to you. This is actually one of my tools that I help my clients with. So this tool is actually to bring awareness, right? It's really to bring awareness to the behaviors. And so this is the tool that it's 5 steps, but I call it the believed behavior blueprint. All right. The believed behavior blueprint. And so this blueprint, it literally just breaks down exactly how God has truly designed you to work. It helps you to realize like the controllable factors, right? So the only things that you can control is your belief, your feelings, and your behaviors. The facts and the fruition, the fact, you can't always control the facts. You can't always control the outcome. You can't always control what comes about, right? But all you can control is your beliefs, your feelings, your behaviors. Those are the controllables. And so it's really important to say, okay, no matter what the fact is. So we'll use this example for this scenario. We'll use this scenario for this video, right? So say the fact is, we know, okay, marketing is like the heartbeat of your business. If you're not marketing your business, you don't have a business. No one knows about you. No one knows you exist. You're not making yourself findable. So it's like, we know you need to market, you need to sell, you need to have a great offer, right? And so the fact is, let's just say the fact is showing up on social media to market. We'll just stick with that. The fact is you want to market your business, you want to show up on social media to market. Now, what is your belief about that, right? What is your belief? Is your belief going to be, well, if I show up on social media, I might mess up, right? Maybe you want to go live or whatever. You're thinking, well, if I show up live, I'm going to mess up and then I'm not going to be credible. And then no one's going to want to work with me or whatever the case may be. So maybe your belief is if I show up live, or maybe we'll just say we'll go with one of the other examples I gave. I don't want my, because this was an example one of my clients came up with. She says, I don't, she was so terrified of showing up and marketing her new business because she didn't want her family to see her. She didn't want her family to see her. Actually, it was her ex-husband's family. She didn't want them to see her marketing her business. And so it led to feelings of like anxiety or fear in her. Excuse me. And as a result of that, her behavior, as a result of the feeling of fearful and anxiety behind this thought that, oh my gosh, they're going to see my content, she would not, even though she knew she wanted to promote her business, she wanted to speak to the clients that she was called to serve, she could not bring herself to create the content. It's like her body was literally, so as a registered nurse turned business coach, like I can pick up immediately when my clients are in fight response, freeze response, fawn, or flight. And what she was doing was she was frozen. She was frozen. She knows in her heart what to say, but her head wouldn't allow her to do it because she's having this belief. And from this feeling of anxiety, she could not bring herself. Her body, her nervous system was shutting down and she was frozen. She couldn't bring herself to say what was on her heart because of her head. And so I had to do the work with her, to the inner work, to help her to unlock and to see like, okay, what God has called you to do, you cannot focus on anyone else. When you're showing up to market your business, like you can't worry about people who you're not called to serve. Right. And so we did the inner work. In our coaching sessions, I worked with her, and now my girl is like out there. Okay. She's on TikTok every day posting, but this is the work. This is the work. This is the true work, because oftentimes you're not even aware of the blocks, like the safety blocks that your nervous system is putting up so that um, you don't realize the fears that you're thinking is going to happen, right? So she thought maybe they would judge her, right? And so because of it, she held herself back, and as a result of that, her business was suffering. And so now she's showing up, she's creating the content, she's acquiring her clients, and business is doing so well for her. But this is the work, right? This is the real work, because if you don't understand how your body works, you're unable to work with your body's design, and so your body continues to work against you. And so you have to understand how to work with your body so that you can scale. Because no matter what level you are in your business, whether you're making $1,000 months, $10,000 months, 100,000 months, $100,000 months, like when you're ready to get to that next level, if you are not handling those subconscious limiting beliefs, you're going to continue to self-sabotage. Okay. And so because of the feeling of fear and anxiety, because of these fears of rejection or really judgment, she was scrolling, she was comparing herself, she wasn't posting, and as a result of that, the fruition, her business wasn't growing. All right, so that's just to show you that cycle. It's showing you like exactly how your beliefs, your thoughts about whatever the fact is, what story, right? What story are you giving yourself? What story are you telling yourself? And oftentimes, like I love the statistic because it's just good to understand like that the brain, so our brains are really designed to protect us. It's God has created our brains to help us. It's to protect us from danger. It's to protect us and keep us safe, right? So the three main components of the brain, like the three motivations of the brain, is to keep us safe, to preserve energy, and to seek pleasure, right? So that is what the brain wants to do. It wants to Netflix and chill. It does not want to think hard. It wants to protect us from any type of danger. And so it's just doing its job. But if you don't understand how to work with it, you'll continue to stay in the same cycle of sabotage. And so the statistic that I love is actually one, they did several studies, but average, let me just find it really quickly, 85 to 91% of the fears that we fear, right? The fearful thoughts that come up for us, 85 to 91% of it never even happen. So a significant study found that 91% of worries never come true, highlighting that it's like it just never materializes, right? And then another study showed of the small percentage of worries that do come true, people often find that they can handle them better than anticipated. Around 79% on one analysis learned valuable lessons from whatever did come to pass. That small percentage of worry, when it did come to pass, like they were able to handle it so much better. So all worry does is create misery in the present moment. This is why Jesus said, take no thought, right? Take no thought about tomorrow. Like today has its own worries. Like don't sit there and worry yourself about what's going to happen, what might happen, because guess what? 85 to 91% might not even happen. And so it's really important for you to understand that. And so you have to understand like the situation versus the story. So there's a fact, right? But what meaning are you giving to it? There's a situation in your life, but what story are you giving to it? Right. So, for example, I shared earlier the cycle, right? The sabotaging cycle by, Monday you're motivated, by Tuesday you're posting, and by Wednesday, you might have gotten 100 views or maybe 2 likes on your post. And to you, that doesn't seem, the story that you're telling yourself with this situation is that, oh, maybe I'm just not good enough, right? Or maybe my content's not good enough, or maybe no one wants to hear from me, right? Or maybe the algorithm just hates me. Versus you can now just take that situation, and maybe the story that you can actually tell yourself is, "Ooh, I'm so grateful for these 100 people. I'm so grateful that 2 people liked, right? I'm so grateful that the next time I post, it's maybe 4 people will like." Right? And just being grateful in the moment and telling yourself a story that actually is going to help you to stay in momentum. Because if you continue to allow the enemy to plant seeds of doubt, plant seeds of discouragement, plant seeds of disappointment, and you're giving into that, and now you want to roll in the corner and cry yourself to sleep by Thursday, like what, this is why you're staying in that cycle. So you have a choice. You have a choice, and you have the ability to decide. God has given you the ability with free will, right? Our soul is our mind, our will, and our emotions. And so yes, you see the situation, but what story are you giving yourself? Because that's what's going to lead to the emotional charge that's connected to it. And as a result of that, your behaviors will then follow suit. And so you have the fact. What are you believing about it? Because that belief, every feeling, every thought is attached to a feeling. And so from that feeling is going to be your behaviors. What actions are you taking, or what inactions, right? And as a result of that, what is your fruition? What's going to be the result of that? And so it's really important for you to see this. And once you have understanding, once you have awareness, right? So this tool, the believed behavior blueprint that I use with my clients, it brings awareness to your situation, right? And once you have awareness, now you're activated, right? It brings activation because now you're like, oh, I see what's going on. You jump out of the loop. You're no longer in the loop. Remember, God has blessed us with the our prefrontal cortex, which allows us to think about what we're thinking about, right? It helps us metacognition. We're able to think about what we're thinking about. And so once you have this awareness and you're now enlightened, and you're like, ooh, I can see the cycle. I can literally see my triggers and how that creates that loop for me. And I often talk about the loop of guilt and shame, right? Because you have these thoughts, and then it leads to guilt, and then you have shame behind that guilt, and you just stay in this big loop. And it's really important that once you have awareness, you're now able to, with metacognition, you're now able to step out of the loop and analyze, right? So you have awareness, you're able to analyze, and that allows you to activate. And one thing about it too is, inside of my program, I have several frameworks and tools that I help my clients to really be able to apply, right? Application. You got to apply the tools so that you're now able to say, okay, I have this awareness now, and I'm now activated now that I've analyzed, right? You've stepped outside of your thoughts because you're first and foremost a spirit. You have thoughts, they don't have you. And so you have to understand that now that you have this awareness and you're analyzing, you can annul it and you can now activate the word of God and apply it to your life. Apply it to your life in the actions that you're starting to take. Okay. You take the actions of the person who has already achieved this goal, right? So there's tools that I help my clients with to really operate, and it helps you to operate as the person, operate as if you are already at that goal. What decisions are you making from that place? What actions, what beliefs are you having? What feelings are you having from that place? All right. And so this is how you're able to break the cycle of sabotage in your business for good. For good, it requires awareness. It really requires that awareness, that activation, and the application, right? Action. It's all about action. And so I go deeper in this teaching inside of my Call to Coach workshop. I break down exactly the three biggest mistakes that are keeping you stuck in your 9 to 5 and how to transition into your business, your coaching business full time. I break down those three secrets, the three mistakes that that coaches are making. I also break down how to make massive sales in your business, even as a busy working mom without a massive audience. You don't need a massive audience to make massive sales. Okay. I don't have a massive audience, but I'm still making sales in my business. I went from selling a $47 product offer to selling 4-figure offers. Okay. And so it's definitely doable. And I'm going to be breaking down exactly how to do that inside of the Call to Coach workshop. And so I'm teaching it live on Wednesday, and I want to encourage you to step in and really get the gems, all right, so that you can transition and resign this year. I want you to resign in 2026. And just completely redesign your life. If the life of freedom that you desire is being able to work from home and be present with your children, work in your purpose, work in your calling. You know God has called you to this, but you're still stuck in your 9 to 5, and you're just like, oh, I'm so frustrated. You're in this cycle, in this loop, and you really want to uncover specifically what your block is. I'm going to be going deeper inside of this Call to Coach workshop next week. So I pray that this has been a blessing to you. Let me know in the comment what your biggest takeaway is. And I'm going to go ahead and jump off of here, but I'm going to tell you, just as God told me, put one foot in front of the other, step out on faith, and trust God for the next step. I'll see you in the next one.